Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve podcast takes a close-up look at controversial subject matter and hot-button topics, adding humor, cynicism, and a dose of reality to the stuff we're not supposed to talk about anymore. Politics, religion, sex, gender identity, violence, corruption. Nothing is left unturned in this lighthearted approach to information dissemination. The world is experiencing a pandemic of cowardice. 80% of people do not believe the craziness they've been coerced to agree with. Grab a friend, grab a beverage, and dive in with us as we take on the narrative and blast social stigmas with truth. Here are your hosts, Patriots Ray Amanat and Steve Reed.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, America. For all of you out in social media land, TV land, blogosphere, watching or listening, welcome to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. I'm Ray Amanat, your co-host, here in sunny Port Richey, Florida, which it is a beautiful day today. And my other co-host, Mr. Steve Reed, somewhere in an undisclosed location in Texas. Good morning or afternoon, Mr. Reed.
It is after morning, but I'm curious, your other co-host?
Yeah, I'm a co-host, you're the other co-host.
I'm confused.
And we have now an active producer.
Yes, we do.
Miss Debbie Schofield that's helping with show content to free up your time, my time, and
yes,
she does the background research and everything.
She's
so
loving it.
Thank you very much, Miss Debbie. Round of applause for our producer, Debbie Schofield.
Absolutely.
Well, wait a second. She's correcting me. She's saying executive producer. So, why we call you what you are, or what we want to.
Oh, mercy. You know, Ray,
So,
I'm having a lot of fun. People are saying, well, okay, so you're in Texas. How hot is it? I don't know, it's probably about 78 degrees. 78 degrees? No way, it's over 100. I said, not where I am. What do you mean, not where you are?
Well, you're northern Texas.
Well, no, I'm in the Dallas area. But yes, I mean, it is North Texas, but it's 78 degrees. That's what the thermostat is set on, so. Why do I care that it's 104 degrees outside when I'm inside? And only crazy people are outside.
Oh, we've got it set for 78 degrees here, but
There you go.
it's in the 90s out here, but it's nothing like my brother in Arizona where it's in the hundreds.
Oh, no, thank you.
So he can keep all that.
Yeah, but Ray, it's a dry heat.
Yeah, that's what they keep telling me.
Yeah, so it's a sauna. So anyway, so Ray, what's going on?
In front of an oven. Well, I mean, there's so much going on in the news. I mean, I know we're going to be talking about a different topic today, but it's riveting watching some of the news pundits actually get into arguments, especially this morning over the Hunter Biden debacle with the judge trying to figure out where to go with, is this a misdemeanor, is this a felony, are they going to... is he making a deal? Is he not? It's deal or no deal. Hunter Biden is on the show, deal or no deal, and it's just one big joke. I mean, it's not even funny. It's wasting our time and our tax dollars, to be honest with you.
I have had so many people in conservative media lately that have been saying this is not a trial about Hunter Biden. This is not an investigation about Hunter. Yes, he broke the law, tax law, gun laws, etc. He broke the law. There's no drug laws, etc. There's no question there. But this is all about Joe Biden, not Hunter. And
I think they're looking at it as the Democrats are looking at it as a way to not have Joe Biden run for president in 2024. That there's going to be so much coming up against Hunter, and then so much other stuff that's going to come out that he is not going to be electable. We're looking at hopefully impeachment proceedings, which would be a win for Republicans.
Yeah,
if they grow a spine and band together and stick to what they're supposed to do, and that's upholding our Constitution and the laws of the land.
The tentacles are long-reaching.
Yeah, I know.
So you are going to have the powers that be in the deep state that are going to do everything they possibly can to pay off Republicans, or Republicans in name only. So,
right. And part of those tentacles that you just showed our viewing audience, which is a bunch of jellyfish with all of the people on the left that are corrupt, ties into our topic for today.
It does, but before we go any further, Ray, I've had scrolling on the bottom of the screen our disclaimer, but we need to put our disclaimer out. Again, this is an opinion-based program. However, we have done our research, and we know that our research is showing us facts about what's going on. Again, thank you, Debbie Schofield, our executive producer, for digging up some videos.
Now, here's the thing: a lot of the material or content that we've brought up, it's also from other news pundits that have larger shows than us. Even though I think Taboo Talk is becoming a pretty big show, a big to-do as we keep growing our audience base. But for the people the sources that we got all the information from, they have their fact checkers. They do their due diligence. They do their due diligence to post all the information that they're posting, and they stand behind it, knowing that they have proof and facts, as do we. So,
right. I saw a great meme just a couple of days ago, and it was Noah. And before the floods came, the fact checkers were saying that it was a conspiracy theory. And after the floodwaters started to rise, the fact checkers drowned. Exactly. I love it.
And that's going to happen to all of the left-wing news media that are not apologetic to all of the support that they gave, all the lies that they've been spewing on the news for the past 4 to 7 years.
It's not making any difference, because all of the stuff, the Russia hoax, all of the other things, the proof has been coming out, and nobody in the media, in the quote-unquote mainstream media, is putting any retractions out there. They are still, Adam Schiff, he's still saying, Russia, 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 Trump is like, shut up. So,
Adam Schiff?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Ray. We need to show a video that's going to give us a little bit of a setup, but why don't you tell everybody what's happening?
About our subject for today?
Our subject matter for today. And we have a short video clip from the number one host who was formerly on Fox.
Let's start with that video clip, and then we'll dive into everything.
Well, I think we should do that. So here we go.
But first, good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Whatever happened to Antifa? Ever wonder that? The shadowy, heavily armed left-wing militia group, the guys dressed like stormtroopers in black masks. You remember them, of course, well from the summer of 2020. They burned our cities that year, churches and police stations and courthouses. Now, the point of the violence they committed, the extensive violence and the killings they committed, was to defeat Donald Trump, make the country so chaotic that voters would want to change. And they were effective in doing that, so effective that Kamala Harris herself raised money to bail them out of jail. In the end, Antifa played a pivotal role in our presidential election that year, more so than any other organized bloc of voters. Then, the moment Joe Biden was inaugurated, Antifa seemed to disappear. Nobody asked any questions about where they went, much less about who they were. or who was paying them, they'd serve their purpose, and then they left. So in retrospect, it's very clear who Antifa was and is. Antifa is the armed instrument of the permanent Democratic establishment in Washington. Their job is to mobilize when politically necessary. Now, this is a new thing in the United States, but political militia are a common feature in third world politics. They're a staple in Haiti. In our country, however, only one party has them, the Democratic Party. They're the only ones with armed militia in the street. So with that in mind, it's interesting to note that Antifa is back in force. And that's probably not a very good sign for Joe Biden. If nothing else, Antifa has a solid track record of getting rid of.
Obviously, that is a few months old.
But I mean, it's two things that we're going to be asking. What happened to Antifa and what happened to Black Lives Matter? You know, it's a big mystery that we're going to dive into because, you know, with the last presidential election, they were really, really, really active. And after Biden got elected, boy, everybody just disappeared. They collected their money from their donors, from the people that funded them, and just disappeared. And they're just waiting for marching orders for, I believe, and I'm going to make a prediction, this next election cycle coming up.
Yeah.
They're going to rear their ugly heads again.
Yep. Absolutely. But, you know, Ray, one of the things when you look at Antifa and BLM, they were both or are both Marxist organizations. And they're...
For our listeners and our viewers, can we come up with, in case they don't know what Marxism or fascism is, do we have a definition that can kind of break it down and explain it to them?
Oh, Ray, I think it's coming.
Oh, my gosh.
Is that not amazing? So fascism, a governmental system led by a dictator having complete power, forcibly suppressing opposition and criticism, regimenting all industry, commerce, etc., and emphasizing an aggressive nationalism and often racism.
Sounds like a mob.
Right, let's break this down. We've got some other video clips that, thank you, our executive producer, Debbie Schofield, was so kind to forward. But let's look at the definition of fascism, and we'll talk about Marxism in a minute. But let's look at where we are today and the current administration as compared to the previous administration, and which one was more fascist?
Before we get into that, as per our OBBM network, we have to get to a commercial break and pay some bills.
I have to take a break and okay.
And then we're gonna just dissect everything that's happened.
Well, right, let's see if he can be a hero.
Hi, welcome to Heroes in Action. I'm Ray Amanat, founder and creator of this training system. I originally made it so that everyone can train for free. We have programs for kids, for women, families, and businesses. I'm an author, speaker, and educator on everything that has to do with violence and bullying prevention education. If you'd like more information about who we are and what our programs are, please go to our website at heroesinaction.us or give me a call if you have any questions at 727-314-2534. We hope to see you here to train. You know, one of the things that we always talk about in our seminars is where's the last place that you want to be? And that's on the ground fighting for your life. A lot of the seminars that we teach are how not to get taken away, how not to get taken down to the ground, but we're unveiling a new seminar What if you get taken down to the ground? How do you fight from the ground so that you can get back up and get to safety? So this is something that we're going to be doing here in Florida. Those of you that are interested in having us come out to your neck of the woods, your part of the country, get a hold of us. You can just go to our website at heroesinaction.us or email me at ray@heroesinactionnow.org. If you'd like to help us through donations, you can fund our programs by using the QR code that you see on the screen, or you can just go to our website, heroesinaction.us, and click on Make a Donation link and help us out there. But we're really excited to introduce this new seminar. It is totally 100% physical, so it's not for the faint of heart, but it does cover that worst case scenario. What if I'm injured? What if I'm on the ground? What if they're on top of me? What do I do from there?
So that would be good for somebody that maybe is on crutches or walks with a cane or something like that also.
Anybody, if you're in a wheelchair and you get, your wheelchair tipped, what are you going to say? What are you going to do? How are you going to handle it based on your functionality, what you're physically capable of doing to fight back?
Very cool. I love that. So when are you launching that?
We're going to set up a seminar date here within the next 2 to 3 weeks in Florida, and then just take it on the road and hit as many places as we can.
So I'm guessing that you could even do demonstrations with Mushy the Martian on the ground, and Mushy could demonstrate some things as well.
Maybe. With that mascot costume, that's going to be kind of hard, but we'll see.
Mascot costume? Come on! I thought it was real Mushy. All right, I'm putting our disclaimer back up because, again, folks, this is our opinion. It is an opinion-based program. We've done our research. These are the facts as we have seen them. It's not just our opinions, but the facts as well. So, Ray, there are so many videos that Debbie was able to come up with, and I've got another one that, well, it speaks for itself.
You've said things like, we are unapologetic about the reality that fighting fascism at points requires physical militancy. What does that mean?
That means that when fascists come to our city to attack people, we are going to put our bodies between fascists and the people they want to attack and try to prevent them from doing that.
When you say put our bodies, that sounds like a passive statement, but sometimes you are not just putting your bodies, but you are acting with your bodies. You're also hitting and you're throwing things and you're reacting violently.
I think self-defense can look violent if you're looking at it as the person who responds in self-defense is as culpable, but we don't see it that way. We see ourselves as engaging in self-defense from groups who want to do our community harm, whose ideology is the ideology of genocide and mass murder. So in the sense of reaction, we see fascism as an inherently violent ideology. So when we disrupt its organizing, we see that as self-defense.
These people are delusional.
I see what they're doing as a threat to our society, and I would claim self-defense as to whatever I physically do to them. I mean, if there are threats to my society, where I live, the businesses and everything here, and they're claiming self-defense with their ideology, then I will do the same, and I would want to go to their homes and give them a taste of their own medicine. I mean, this is an eye for an eye, but I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't do that, but it's ultimately we might have to be forced to do that.
Well, Ray, a couple of things. If you recall, a couple of years ago, Kyle Rittenhouse,
yes,
he was defending the property of a friend of his, and he happened to have a long gun, had an AR-15, and he was using that for defense purposes. And then he was attacked, and he was using it to defend himself, but yet they were calling him the fascist, and he needs to be killed, he needs to be thrown in prison, he needs to be, beaten, and so forth. It's like, I don't understand. He was there defending somebody else, and he had
multiple threats on him, hitting
multiple,
him.
Yes.
One
yes.
with, I believe, a skateboard upside his head.
Yeah.
It's when you're in fear for your life, then that's a self-defense system. Sometimes that is violent.
And then
but
you had also in your former hometown the attorney and his wife whose property was being breached. People broke into their gated community, and they were feeling threatened, so they were defending themselves. But yet the liberal district attorney in the St. Louis area pressed charges, one of them arrested, one of them... I'm like, I don't get some of the nonsense. Those were fascists as well. Was that Antifa? Was it Black Lives Matter? I don't remember which one it was. But I know it was one of those two groups that was doing the threatening at that point in time. So let's look at, I'm going to put the definition for fascism up again. It says that it's a governmental system, but these two guys in their hoodies and glasses and so forth, they're being fascistic. Well, no, they were being fascistic as well. They're trying to take over, okay? Like a dictator would try to take over. They wanted complete power over anybody, forcibly suppressing opposition, forcibly suppressing the people that they were claiming are being fascists. And I'm trying to figure out who it is they are saying the fascists are. Have you figured out who the fascists are from their opinions?
I have not.
I haven't either.
It's. Have you figured out who's racist? I mean, every time they bring up racism, the left brings up racism to somebody that is homophobic or genderphobic or whatever. Exactly. They claim that, oh, you're a racist or you're this or that whenever you disagree with their narrative. So we're just people are disagreeing with their narrative, and they're just throwing out words out there, getting people to try to see their viewpoint, which is an incorrect viewpoint.
Yeah, speaking of viewpoints, let's look at another viewpoint.
Fox News alert, Antifa's getting revenge.
This is the Cop City site. Construction vehicles are up in flames. It's like a trailer for the construction crew, about to be up in flames.
That was day one of Antifa's week of action. This has been simmering for months. Antifa was living in tree houses in the woods where police were building their new training center in Georgia. They called themselves the Forest Defenders. They say they're protesting environmental racism, but really it's about getting rid of cops. Antifa doesn't care about the environment. I haven't seen them in East Palestine, and we haven't seen them at the Jersey Shore protesting windmill whale murder. When police started kicking the Forest Defenders out of the trees, one of their members, known as Little Turtle, Tortuguita, started shooting at cops. A state trooper was seriously wounded, and Little Turtle was killed. And now Antifa is avenging Little Turtle's death. Antifa hid inside a group of peaceful protesters outside the construction site. They had comedy shows, music festivals. They even gave tours of the forest. And that's when things started turning mostly peaceful. Then 150 Antifa militants peeled off, changed into camouflage clothing and black masks, and stormed the construction site. The Antifa militants chucked bricks and Molotov cocktails at police, lit construction equipment ablaze. This was a highly organized attack, and it won't be the last. Antifa is getting stronger. They're international.
This is a national network, an international group of people that are organized to come to our state to undermine a public safety training center. All but 2 were from out of state, and 23 individuals have been charged with domestic terrorism.
More Antifa came from out of the country than from Georgia.
Insane.
Unbelievable.
Insane. And so their whole thing is they want to create chaos as much as anything else. They don't want laws. They want to be the laws themselves.
And we gotta always, bring up the question: who's paying for this? Follow the money. How are they? They're national and international. How are they being funded? Are they being funded through other nonprofit organizations that bust them to wherever they feel they're needed to make a statement? We need to follow the money. We need to find out who's paying them, look at their bank accounts, and weed out the corruption and weed out the people that are funding them. I know you've got the slide up of our little...
all the sea nettles, the jellyfish. Yeah,
the jellyfish.
That's who's funding them.
That's
who's funding them. And behind the scenes of all of these people, whether it's Biden or Hillary or James Clapper or the media, Adam Schiff, etc., behind all of them is George Soros.
Man, don't forget Michael and Barack Obama.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, mercy. Yes, exactly.
I'm sorry, Michelle.
Yeah. Well, there's some other videos that I've seen lately also, and that's just. But I think we need to take another short break.
I need a break.
Pay some more bills.
Life isn't always sunshine and roses. Sometimes it's full of roadblocks. The kind that aren't as easy to fix as filling a hole or repairing a car. Personal roadblocks are another thing altogether. Why do I feel stuck? The same things anger me every time. Why am I doing this anyway? Fixing it yourself can be frustrating and confusing. And if more than one person is involved, DIY might mean destroy it yourself. Maybe it's time for another solution. Steve Reed shines a light on your roadblocks and helps you find the best way forward for you. Stephen Reed Ministries, bringing light and hope for a victorious life. To overcome your roadblocks, schedule an appointment with Steve Reed today.
Ray, what we are talking about today is about people that are messed up. And they oftentimes they are narcissistic. Oftentimes they are people that have been traumatized themselves in some way, shape, or form when they were growing up, when they were younger, or maybe they just felt entitled. And maybe they're on drugs, maybe it's alcohol, maybe whatever it is. There is something that has instigated this kind of deranged behavior. And a lot of these people are not living in reality. Plain and simple. They're just not living in reality. I have to joke about, or I have to laugh about the person that the people that were on a Dr. Phil show not too long ago. And there's a woman that made the comment about that she is so glad that they're putting tampons in the men's bathroom or in the boys' bathroom in school. And there's a doctor on there that says, men don't need tampons. They don't menstruate. And then a transgender pro whatever this other person was, yes, but trans men do. They are not women. They are men. And so these people are living in a world of delusion. And who knows what the delusion is. And so we've got to figure out ways to stop some of the nonsense. And I think truth is the biggest weapon that we have. And I don't want to say facts, because there are people that have a different set of facts in their opinions. And the word facts itself has been changed. The definition has been changed, but it's truth. So anyway, so I help people deal with reality. in my coaching practice, whether it's a business owner or somebody that's been victimized or abused. I'm going to help you deal with the reality and get past some of the garbage that is going on.
And
so,
how do they get a hold of you?
Well, they can get a hold of me by going to info@StephenReedMinistries.com. And let me see if I can find. I've got my information up here. So there we go. All right. I have a little bit of an issue with my email and my website right now. My website is StephenReedMinistries.com, and that's StephenReed Ministries.com. So I got to deal with that when we go off the off air, and see if I can figure out exactly what it is.
You got to get tech support. So,
yeah,
executive producer Debbie just posted something on our Facebook page. And those of you that would like to join in on our podcast here, you can go to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve on Facebook and engage with us, leaving comments or questions for us. Producer Debbie said, according to the New York Post, in March of 2023, the city of Philadelphia paid $9.25 million to left-wing protesters who alleged they suffered physical and emotional injuries by the police. And New York is kind of doing the same thing, where they're going to pay people. Oh my gosh! I mean, this is what I think we should call this Clucky the Chicken.
Yeah. You know, there was a phrase I heard years ago: "You do the crime, you do the time."
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why we've gotten away from that. It worked for centuries, millennia. Well, why have we gotten away from that? And by the way, folks, you can always email us at tabootalkwithrayandsteve@gmail.com. So we'd love to hear from you, both on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, but send us an email and tell us what you're thinking. So anyway.
Yes, please.
Well, just what I'm saying. But anyway, all right, so I'm going to keep going. I've got another interesting little video clip. Actually, I'm going to take this email out of there, and let me see if I can find the email clip or the video clip.
A Fox News alert: Antifa's getting revenge.
I saw that one. Okay. Well, we're going to change gears a little bit and talk about the sister organization that is Black Lives Matter.
That this narrative, which we were all lied to about, inflated an organization that purported to be about Black Lives Mattering. I went into the finances.
Yeah, what did you find?
What I found was that millions and millions of dollars are going to trans organizations.
What kind of organizations?
Quite literally trans organizations. Like, we focus on providing trans houses. One was, we are focused on building the first ever fully transgendered district in San Francisco. We are focused on, they're all buying houses and building districts, I'll say that. It's a lot of real estate. We are focused on providing a oasis for transgendered people in Ohio, right? House of Gigi, House of Tulip, a transgender district. We are focused on sex workers, all sex workers. How does any of this go to furthering Black lives, right? We found that $30+ million went to the stock market. I thought this was about tearing down the institutions of white supremacy.
I love her.
Isn't she amazing?
She deserves a hooray.
Oh, there's no question. There's no question. I mean, and Ray, there's no question also that this is not a representation of Candace Owens. So, anyway. But millions of dollars were raised for Black Lives Matter several years ago.
And not used for anything to improve Black lives.
Exactly.
Not their neighborhoods, not funding for scholarships for education. Instead, and producer W had brought this up, Black Lives Matter, you know how Joe Biden is trying to still push for paying off student debt.
Yeah.
While Black Lives Matter is getting behind that, getting past So most of the African American student debt is going to be what gets paid off, not really that much of anyone else. And producer Debbie can kind of, I don't want to quote that, but I'd rather have all the facts on that. But, you know, they're still around and they're still trying to use their influence to get things to happen, like a lobbyist, by swaying what our politicians do to with our tax dollars.
And millions of dollars were raised, and she just showed there that a lot of money went into the stock market. A lot of the money was spent by the founders of Black Lives Matter, and it went into things like luxury housing
for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They improved their lives.
Yeah,
you know, they're black, but how are they improving the lives of all the people in Chicago that are black on black crimes?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Why is money not going there to deal with the gang and the drug issues that they have that are destroying that community or that region?
Well, and right, you know, why isn't the money going to help solidify the black family?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, LBJ, president back in the early 60s, managed to push through the Great Society to destroy the black family. I mean, the guy was an avowed racist, and he's trying to destroy the black family, and that's what's going on. And so you've got those sorts of things. But yet Donald Trump, when he was in office, developed enterprise zones or encouraged or endorsed enterprise zones. And there were people like Senator Tim Scott and Dr. Ben Carson, HUD secretary, that strongly promoted the enterprise zones, those zones that needed help, areas in the inner city that were predominantly black and Hispanic communities, to help them and promote things. And as a result of Donald Trump's endorsement and legislation, what happened to the unemployment rates for the black and Hispanic communities during Donald Trump's reign?
They went down.
Get out of here. There's no way.
They went down.
No.
People were thriving. People were making money.
No. Donald Trump is a racist. It couldn't possibly have gone down.
No. Donald Trump is the furthest thing from being a racist.
Exactly.
People just say it and they say it over and over again until you think, well, maybe he is. Why don't you look at his track record and look at the facts as opposed to listen to the news pundits and politicians that spew lies, nothing but lie after lie after lie. How many lies have they been caught in?
We've lost track.
It's sickening.
I have lost track. So, Ray, I think we need to take another real quick break and talk about our network, OBBM.
Yes.
Now your DFW events can be listed on the DFW events segment of OBBM Network News. New episodes posted each week are reaching people right here in your own backyard. Get in on this. Now it's affordable to reach thousands of people in new markets, offering exposure to your professional network like never before. Get us your listing by Tuesday at noon, and you'll be included in the following week's release on Monday. Email info@offbeatbusiness.com for our digital media kit and discover a better way to reach DFW. Not hosting events? Your business will benefit from the exposure our events list generates. Take advantage of brand exposure on the ticker or with the logo graphic, video advertisement, even a QR code. Click on our QR code to access our digital media kit now.
Ray, it is a delight to be part of the OBBM network, which has us on Spotify and Apple and iHeart and all of the other major podcast networks, even on Rumble, etc. So you can find us there, but you can also find other great programs by OBBM that are on there. And it's not just a Dallas network, it is a nationwide network. So,
and we truly thank them for believing in us and our show's message to talking about taboo topics and opening up friendly discussions and showing people that, hey, we can get along and still disagree.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you and I don't always agree.
Well, that's because you're not right.
Producer Debbie and I don't always agree. I guess it's just me.
I'm not going to go there. But you know what, Ray? I've got one last video clip I want to share. And producer Debbie, executive producer Debbie, got this off of the website for Black Lives Matter.
Time after time after time. Not just bad apples, not just a few. A racist institution rooted in white supremacy. We need a new approach to public safety, a model of care, not punishment, a model of intervention, not incarceration, invested in our lives, protecting our children, supporting our communities. We cannot reform a system that was never designed to protect us.
We don't need fewer police, we need more police. But we need attorneys general and district attorneys that will enforce the laws that are on the books, keep people in prison, put people in prison when they are supposed to be in prison. But yet we have too many DAs that don't want to do that don't want to uphold the law. And many of those that don't want to do this are funded and put in office by none other than George Soros. So he's behind a lot of the violence, just as he's behind Antifa, just as he's behind BLM and so many other things. So, right, you know, I thought it was interesting. Part of that video clip, it's showing images of the KKK from back, 100 years ago.
Yeah, who started the KKK?
That would be the Democrat Party.
They say 7,000 African Americans have been killed. Well, how many thousands of African Americans have been killed by other African Americans?
Exactly. I don't think they're delineating that. But here's the thing. When the Republicans, Abraham Lincoln, the founder or the first president, when the Republicans freed the slaves and won the Civil War, the Democrats said, we don't want blacks to have any rights, so we're going to create the KKK and keep them from having guns, keep them from having rights, etc. And let's see, that was pushed through by the Democrats. And then with all of the racial riots,
how many African Americans have been killed through abortion clinics?
Millions.
And what political party is promoting that and trying to keep abortions to late-term abortions? What political party has that agenda?
In their platform, that would be the Democrats.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And where do most of the abortion clinics, where are they placed? What communities are they placed in?
Inner cities and predominantly low-income areas.
Oh my gosh.
And predominantly black neighborhoods. So,
wake the cluck up, America.
You know, Ray, I'm about ready to step in it for just a brief moment, and so bear with me. And I'm looking for a real answer, okay? So for the past 10, 20, 30 years, whatever, people we're supposed to call blacks African Americans, okay? But yet this organization that we're talking about isn't called African Americans Lives Matter. It's called Black Lives Matter. So I'm confused. Hey, by the way, have you ever seen the video with Morgan Freeman and Dan Rather? I think it was Dan Rather. No, it wasn't Dan Rather. Who was it? I forget who the 60 Minutes commentator was. And the commentator is asking Morgan Freeman, black man, how do we stop racism? And Morgan
Stop talking
Freeman,
about it.
Exactly. Exactly. And then he says, okay, so you've relegated 1 month out of the year to talk about a black history. Is there a Jewish history month? Is there a whatever? Okay. Why we are fostering racism and segregation, but yet back in the 60s, we're trying to get rid of segregation, and now they're trying to segregate again.
Right.
I don't understand. I do not understand.
And they're just doing it wash, rinse, repeat with the gay and homosexual community as well.
Same thing.
They're just doing the same thing. I mean, it's working for them because they are dividing our country.
Yes.
And that's why we say, wake the cluck up, America, because they're just doing the same thing over and over again, and we keep falling for it. I'm not falling for it. That's why we have this show.
You know, Ray, it's one of the ploys with Marxism. And Marxism is a system of economic and political thought developed by Karl Marx. And it was an ideology that was designed, now it doesn't say it in this definition, but it was designed to divide society in every way they possibly could. And the design was to divide people economically, racially, by religion, every which way they possibly can. And that's exactly what the Democrats are all about. They are all about dividing the country in every way possible, whether it's racially, whether it's sexual orientation, whether it's financial things. Well, you know, the rich have to pay their fair share. Well, the rich are paying their fair share. So they're just trying to divide our country. They're trying to destroy America.
Yeah, I agree. All the more reason, you know, if Antifa or Black Lives Matter reorganizes, well, they're already organized. But they rear their heads again in this new political cycle for 2024, and they intimidate people into voting a certain way, or they intimidate people into not even voting, not showing up to vote. Yeah, you wonder why I'm doing a seminar on what to do if somebody knocks you down. Yeah. Do you want to be just balled up in a fetal position and let people hit you left and right? Or do you want to learn how to protect yourself, save your own skin, so that you can do what you want to with your life and not be a victim?
You know, Ray, it is very unfortunate that the Democrats, the progressives, the liberals, the Marxists, the socialists, the communists, I'm sorry for being so redundant, but it's a shame that they are trying to divide our country instead of bringing us together. And that way we can fight the evil that's in the world. But if you voted Democrat, then you're part of the problem. Hate to say it. Let's bring us together. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Do your homework, people.
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook at Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. You can find us Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve on YouTube. You can email us at tabootalkwithrayansteve@gmail.com. And we want you to join in. We want you to share this information. We want you to comment, talk to us, tell us what's going on, tell us what you want us to talk about. And we're going to continue to share light on some of these evil things that are going on, whether it's more trafficking issues or division of the country, the vaccines, whatever it is. We want to bring these things to the front, to the forefront of our conversation. So, Ray, anything from you to wrap things up?
Just for everyone listening or watching, become an informed citizen. Don't just go by what the media says. Do your research. We're doing our best to provide you with all the facts, with the hopes that you take the initiative to do your own research as well, to be an informed citizen, be an informed voter, and educate the people around you to know what the truth is from what fiction is. And hopefully give our country, I'm going to quote Donald Trump, make America great again.
Again.
Always. So, be informed. Do your research and homework. And thank you guys for tuning in.
Have a fabulous day.
We'll see you next week on another episode of Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.
Now your DFW.
And Susan, no offense, but we already saw you once.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. If you have suggestions for topics you would like us to discuss, or you would like to become a sponsor, reach out to us today at Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve at gmail.com. In the meantime, check out the other amazing programs on OBBM Network on all your favorite podcast platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Join us again for another fun and informative opinion-based episode. This is Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.